I know I should have put this up yesterday. In theory, I should have done it the day before when this actually came out. But yes, they are going to be revisiting Augments. At first I thought, okay, it's not such a huge deal. It's just a dev workshop. These are the rough ideas of what they're going to bring. If you want to read through this list properly, I will put a link in the description below like I do for every dev workshop, because every single thing in here is subject to change. They do, however, mention, it should be noted, some augments are tied to abilities that see very little use. Pool of Life is an example. However, these will be looked at later. No pun intended, but what the heck about the weapon augments? A lot of people are telling me that this could be bad and it's going to ruin all of the existing augments. But just a quick look through here, and in attacks by clones will raise the melee combat counter. It should have said melee so people understand it a little bit better. Including a passive benefit to extend the duration of said combo counter. Okay. That's not so bad. I hope that is in addition to what it already does. That would be nice. Just to quickly go over this, increases to damage and speed, increase to duration and buff, Hydroids increase to duration and immunity buff, increase, buff. It continues like this. One that I did see that was, I'm not going to say upsetting, but really should just be a thing that frames can do, is piercing raw. The raw augment for Rhino will allow raw to be recast when equipped. Shouldn't that just be an ability that he has? Because I use raw when I'm using Rhino, and there's a few times somebody is a bit out of range and you cast it and you get 2 out of the 3 people you are playing with, and you think, well, that sucks. So you can't recast it to include that person. That is very useful. Also, in addition, it increases the debuff. It generates a stagger effect to enemies that hit by raw. You have no additional energy drain. Increases to damage. Damage increase per hit. Every single one of these says increase. That makes it a good thing. And what's super with doing all of the... I'm kind of forgetting some augments here. Remembering exactly how many of these there actually are inside of a syndicate. This is but a handful. This is a fraction of the augments that are available. Remembering that a lot of them do repeat themselves, because Atlases won't just be inside of Steel Meridian to make them more available, unless of course you are against Cephalon, Suda and Parent Sequence, Arbiters of Hexus, in which case they have things that you cannot get outside of those 2, but the rest of them are spread across 4 of them. But it's Freezing Force is the one they're doing for Frost. Hitting an enemy with it will add cold damage to them for 40 seconds, possibly messing up any elemental build that they have. Chilling Globe, however, does that come as one that is hardly ever used? Is that an ability that is never used by Frost? I can understand, just by looking at that, why people keep sending me messages about this, saying, why haven't you done this, why aren't you doing that, why aren't you mentioning the other? I use Chilling Globe because I'm pretty sure anybody who has Frost either uses Chilling Globe or uses Snow Globe. Snow Globe being his 3rd ability. And you can tell that I'm being semi-serious here because I called it Snow Globe and not Frost Bubble. Weapon augments are just, I guess they're just ages old. Say the same about Atlas. A lot of these cross different syndicates, but you just go to one syndicate and it's, okay, Ash, Atlas, Ember, what? Oh, that's a set for Ember. Garuda, Harrow, Korra, Mesa, Loki, Necros, Saren, Titania, still Saren, Volt, Zephyr, still Volt. There is a handful of frames in each, but there is so many different Warframe based augments that this was going to happen eventually, and I'm still missing a few, but I don't really use augments that often anyway. But it's not the fact that they are going in and they are changing a handful of them. This is the test to see how well it goes. The dev workshop part of this is obviously for people to talk about it and make suggestions to maybe correct numbers, or it's always in there, and this is always subject to change. And I just wasn't going to cover this because, yeah, it's a handful of them. There's probably 1 or 2 augments for each frame, and probably, no, 1 augment per frame. I say that, Mirage has 2. Mesa has 1. Mag, Hydroid, Excal. Actually, it's only Mirage that has 2, and it's the 2 that I happen to use. Sleight of Hand and Eclipse. Increase the range and increase the damage. These all look pretty good. But, in case you haven't guessed by the stupid insert in this whole time, they're not touching the weapon augments. These are staying exactly where they are, without inserting another weird pun. Why are they ignoring this side of this? It's, okay, there is only really 4 weapon augments per syndicate, and there is 6 syndicates, so there's not a great deal of these augments that exist, but the ones that do are actually pretty useful. And yes, in case you haven't noticed, I've completely lost, there it is. The one for the heck, if you don't use the heck, if you use the heck and don't have this, it's worth picking up because 200% multi-shot just makes it amazing, and it adds the syndicate effect to it, which is normally saved for these 3 weapons per syndicates. If they were adding more of these, I would have covered this at the time. But they are not adding more of those, they are just changing, or making better existing Warframe augments, which is actually kind of a good thing. Despite what a lot of people have been saying where this is going to kill the augments, it's actually going to make them better. The only thing that really comes into count for this is when they make these changes, if they change that little number in the top right, instead of it taking 9 points, maybe it takes 7. They do basically the same thing. It goes up 3 points, but it takes up 9 points, so decreasing that will make these so much more useful than they actually are now. Staying at 9, that'll be fine. Increasing it at all, that would ruin it. But it doesn't really mention that, and I have been through this a few times, just looking up exactly that thing. They're not increasing the mod number, they're just making augments better. So we'll leave this off here for now. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.